So this is interesting. So everyone's trying to make sense of the Elizabeth Warren-Bernie Sanders conflict that happened on the debate stage. So there are some theories going around now. One of those theories being that Elizabeth Warren is basically trying to get a vice presidency spot with Joe Biden. On the Joe Biden, it would be a Warren-Biden ticket. Now, one of those people is Kyle Kulinski. Now, someone says, the fact that Warren still hasn't brought up Biden's bankruptcy bill after 7 debates should tell you something. And then Kyle responds saying, the fact plus shivving Bernie means they definitely made a deal. Sad. Hashtag Dem debate. So that means they made a deal that, I'm going to basically try to take out Bernie. And that is what the idea is. Now, Emma Vigeland, who is actually somebody who was a pretty big Warren stan. Now, to be fair to her, she did always make clear that Bernie was her number one, so she's not a shill in the same way that Nico House is, but it is still very annoying how much she defended Elizabeth Warren, and there seems to be folks at TYT, like I believe Cenk Uygur was also trying to apologize for Warren. I don't really know why. I don't know what's up with that. It's very odd stuff, but she says, one theory I keep seeing is that Warren is angling to be Biden's VP. This is laughable. Warren and Biden have disliked each other for years. They fought over banking policy for over a decade, with Biden defending the credit card company. So, I was a bit torn on this because I was trying to figure out, okay, is there a shot? Is there a shot that something is going on here? And I've come to the conclusion that I'm not 100% in either of the camps, but I would say that I'm 75 to 80% of the idea that, yeah, there's something going on there. And I'll tell you why. And I'll tell you why, first of all, it seems like Emma Vigeland's tweet is just completely wrong, right? Whether or not it is that Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren are angling for a president VP sort of ticket is different from whether or not Emma Vigeland's logic here is right. I think Emma Vigeland's logic is totally off completely because she's claiming that, they really hate each other and everything, which if they did, they would be going at it. And people are pointing out, dude, Elizabeth Warren's gone at way harder at Bernie Sanders than she ever has on Joe Biden this entire election cycle. So that's totally bogus, obviously. So here's some interesting stuff. So this is from 2016. It says Biden wanted Warren as his VP. The Massachusetts senator was non-committal, but warned of a backlash against his pro-Wall Street votes in the Senate. Says Joe Biden took months to decide he wouldn't run for president, but he was sold on Elizabeth Warren as his running mate from the start. People familiar with the situation told Politico. And he still thinks the Massachusetts firebrand would be Hillary Clinton's best choice to replace him as the nation's number 2 in January 2017. So, what this means is that Joe Biden was already wanting her to be his VP back in 2016 because Joe Biden was determining whether or not he wanted to run. I think because Hillary Clinton was the one who was running, she was the queen. So I think he had to, bow down essentially. Also, we've got a recent report saying that Obama's reportedly talking up Elizabeth Warren with donors. So it looks like Obama's been kind of boosting her up. Julian Castro, the former HUD secretary of Obama's administration, coming out and endorsing him. Also reports that Elizabeth Warren has had a lot of her foreign policy advisors are Obama veterans, in terms of Obama administration veterans, okay? Also, when it comes to Hillary Clinton, they met together before Elizabeth Warren announced her run, actually. Says Elizabeth Warren's team doesn't want to talk about Clinton, but that doesn't mean the 2020 presidential candidate isn't talking with their party's 2016 nominee. The two have kept a line of communication open since the Massachusetts senator decided to run for president. The only conversation around the time of Warren's launch has been previously reported. According to several people familiar with their discussions who spoke to NBC on the condition of anonymity because of political sensitivity of private interactions. So it looks like there was at least 2 calls, maybe even more. So they do have a connection there. Elizabeth Warren and Hillary Clinton clearly have a connection there. And so when I see Elizabeth Warren doing what Hillary Clinton did in 2016 with all of this gender nonsense and the lies and the smears of Bernie being the sexist, it tells me that they're in her ear, that Obama and Hillary Clinton are in her ear. So am I certain that they're connected for a deal or a VP spot. Warren is VP, Biden is president. No, I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is, it is possible that she's being influenced. I just think this is highly likely. She's being influenced by those people, because in none of these previous debates have I seen her go this hard on the whole gender stuff, okay? And I think that that's going to help Donald Trump a lot. There's also a lot of evidence to show that Elizabeth Warren would lose against Donald Trump, that being one of them. Another one being a Morning Consult general election national poll coming out, having Warren and Trump nationally tied with independents, while Bernie's +9, even lower than Buttigieg is where she is, okay? So what I'm saying is Vigeland's logic here is totally wrong. There's no evidence for that. But I'm not 1,000% or 100% convinced that they have a deal or anything like that. There's definitely a lot of evidence to point to the idea that she is getting some, she's essentially getting some talking in her ear from Hillary Clinton's people, Obama people. They're very clearly well connected. It's impossible not to see the ties. She's talked to Hillary Clinton on multiple occasions. She obviously has Obama vets in her campaign. Julian just endorsed her. Let's keep it real, folks. There's clearly something going on here.